Hello, everybody, and welcome again to a new expert interview session. And I'm very stoked for this one today because we have Michal on the call today, and he is an amazing Amazon ads expert amongst other things. He's like a coach. He does a lot of different things. So yeah, again, I'm very stoked for this session. First and foremost, thank you very much for joining us today. And could I introduce you a little bit, but can you tell me a little bit more about yourself?
Thanks for having me, Joris. It's a pleasure. I always love to share whatever knowledge and wisdom I have with fellow authors, because I started as a self-published author myself about 10 years ago. It was 2000, well, actually 9 years ago. Come on, it's 9 years and 1 day when I published my first book.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I forgot about the anniversary. And I published 19 books. In 2016, I started advertising my own books and got some good results. Well, I write nonfiction, personal development stuff. And the next year, I started offering to run ads for other authors, and with changing luck, but right now, several years down the road, we are serving a few dozen authors. We are advertising about 100 books. And our model is unique because we are paid by results, and the risk is on us. If I decide to take a client, then, well, either we'll make money or I will return if he lost anything on ads, including the ad costs. So yeah, with so much practice, I discovered mostly what works, what not, and how to optimize your book page for advertising, which is actually a huge part, which is often missing when you cooperate with agency, especially if they don't care much about your results because they are just paid a flat fee. But I pay utmost attention to the book pages because they are the deciding factor. When people finally land on your book page on Amazon, they will decide to purchase the book or not. So it better be good.
Right, it's so important. Yeah, and for everybody who's watching this, not familiar on how that goes. So first and foremost, there are a lot of people out there, a lot of companies out there that can help you with things like Amazon ads or Facebook ads or whatever type of ads. But often they charge like a fixed fee per month, regardlessly if you are making any money out of them. But there are a few companies out there who don't do that, who don't believe in that, and only believe in getting paid when they get actually some results for you. There are also companies out there who charge like a small or a bigger one-time fee, like a setup fee. But yeah, your structure is very unique in the sense that it's without risk for an author, because you take all the risk and you only get paid when the author actually earns a profit. So, but I can imagine that for that same reason, you can't accept every single book. I know for a fact that you do mostly nonfiction, for instance, and not so much fiction. Is there a reason for that? So is nonfiction a little bit easier to market via Amazon ads, or?
Yes, I think the competition is much lower. That's one. Like there is much less business books or leadership books than romance books, for example, or fantasy. And also in those niches, nonfiction, like there is less authors and self-publishers at that. And recently, up to a few months ago, only self-publishers had access to the advertising system on Amazon. So all those traditionally published authors just couldn't advertise, so competition was even smaller. Also, my books are nonfiction, and my keyword database is built mostly on them, so similar books work best, and that's another reason. What else going into the consideration? Among other things, I would say that the only thing that I could figure out was that Amazon actually prefers authors with multiple books.
Right.
So I stopped accepting author with one book, even nonfiction book, for our profit split deal, because I just never know and the risk is higher. So I have another service for those authors. We are actually having a flat fee. It's not so high, $150. And then we run our ads for a month and provide a report, because having the experience of advertising so many books, we can tell, okay, your results are average or great, and we can provide some recommendations. But going back to point one, number one in advertising books is always book description and whatever you can smuggle into the book page on Amazon to have some social proof or whatever convinces a reader to buy. Because why it's so important? Because whether you use Amazon ads or Facebook or any other ads, if you direct traffic to your book page on Amazon, like this is the sales page, they are landing there and they will either buy or not. So and also it works for the organic traffic. Like you don't have to advertise your book, but for example, you are doing podcast interviews every week and talking about your book, then you have some traffic which goes to Amazon and it converts better if you have a better book page.
Yeah, I think in general, the book description is maybe even the most important factor. Everybody talks about the cover design, which is, well, maybe equally as important, because if you're going to advertise, for everybody that doesn't know that, of course, if you want to advertise on Amazon ads or Facebook, even BookBub, because those are the three big ones in terms of publishing for books, what readers will see in your ad is basically your cover, the price, some reviews. I believe that's it, right? Price, reviews, and the cover.
And title and the
yeah, of course, and
name.
title. Yeah, title and subtitle. Yeah, definitely. But that's it basically. So basically, the cover will draw them in, and those components will draw them in. And like the cover is then the main component, of course. So if they like what they see, if it's similar to books they love, then they will click on the read more button, and then they land on your book page. But if you send like thousands of people onto your book page, but your book description is not converting, of course, then nobody will actually buy it. So having a great book description is so important. And I agree with you as well. If you can have some great reviews or other statements on there that can convince them to buy, that can really help as well, because it's a pay-per-click platform. So for Amazon to show your ad, it doesn't cost you anything. But if somebody's interested enough to land on your book page and then click, that's going to cost you. So you actually want them when they are there to actually convert them. So yeah, definitely. And you mentioned that you mentioned we. So you're not doing this by yourself. Do you have a team now?
Yes, there are several people working with me. Half of them are my family. Like I hired my son's wife, sister, father, and at different capacity, each of them. And now I have also a few VAs from Philippines, one freelancer from Philippines, and actually hired last week a part-time guy from Spain, because we are also expanding into Spanish market. And I need someone to help me with customer service, because I'm terrible at that. And so I would rather have someone decent, at least decent. Like I'm about the worst person in the world who should take care of customer service. And I am the customer service department right now. So it's oh, come on, let's don't go that way, please.
Awesome. And yeah, where are you from? I mean, a lot of people might hear accent like me. So sorry.
I'm from Poland.
Poland, right? Yes. So Poland and the Netherlands here. So we are this session is full with accents. I just love it. I love accents. It's nice. But do you do this full time? Is it like your main job as well? The advertising?
It's my source on my main source of income. It provides like 50% of my income, but it's not full time. Like I'm spending maybe quarter time of my own time on this business. Well, overall, having several people working on that, it's more than full time. It's like we are providing about 24 hours a day into the business. Yep. So, and other things, yeah, I'm coaching. I'm still stuck in my day job because my wife thinks it's secure. And like I'm crossing my fingers, maybe they will fire me, or maybe my wife will just get tired of me asking every day, when can I quit? And the other source of income for me are, of course, my book royalties.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, you preach what you, I think the saying is you preach what you pray, right? Or the other way around. I'm not sure. Something like that. I think everybody knows
I
what
practice what I preach.
There we go. That was it. There we go. What would you say to the authors who like from, all right, so I got all the production part down. I got my cover, I got my book description, I even got like a marketing plan. And I heard somebody told me that I need to do Amazon ads and I'm going to figure it out all by myself. I'm going to set everything up by myself. What would you say to that person? Is that a smart thing to do? Would you recommend it? If so, when in that stage? What's the advantages, disadvantages, etc.?
I would say this is the smartest thing to do. I always say that the author is the best person in the world to advertise their own book, and I'm like the second best option, and far behind, I would say, because it's always the author is the best person. However, yes, there are some tedious part of this advertising. So hiring someone down the road is not a bad idea, just to groom the ads or create the ads or whatever else. As to learning it, I would say like there is a free course on Kindlepreneur, which is pretty good enough, I would say, and you can start there. But before diving into ads, I would make sure your book page looks all right and like get some idea about copywriting, have a headline of your book. So it's not just a wall of text when it comes to book description, but it starts from the clear benefit and it's bolded. It's a headline. It's not very long. So it's a hook that will stop the browser in their tracks and they will, okay, oh, that's interesting. Maybe that applies to me. So they will read more. Like it's 80% of your job on your book page, your headline. And then also every copywriter say you need a call to action at the end. So, well, I'm not a copywriter. They are experts. I listen to them. I always preach to my clients, okay, let's add one sentence at the end, pick up your copy today.
Right.
That's it, like the absolute minimum. Adding your editorial reviews through the author portal is like no-brainer. And what plenty self-publishers do, they are just using the Amazon reviews, snippets of them to put there. And so far, nobody was persecuted for that. So good enough. And I know from the experience, from numbers, that it increases the conversion rate. So do it. Then we have A+ content, which was offered quite recently.
Yeah.
So you can add some graphics. And again, it's when it comes to editorial reviews and this A+ content, this is the content you can control, unlike anything else on the book page. So then they scroll down and they see the reviews, and you cannot control your reviews. You have no clue which will be at the top, if it's 2-star or 5-star. So you would better do whatever is in your control to make this experience favorable for you. And only then start learning about ads.
That's great advice.
Yeah, go through this free course. It's like, I don't know if it's 10 hours long or even shorter, and you have the basics. I would also like to tell about my system, because I use the system which saves me time. It doesn't work every time. It doesn't work for books which are already best-selling. Like, it's actually hard the ranks and the marketing algorithm of Amazon, because then Amazon is confused. We are getting leads from so many places. What's going on? But I would say, again, from my experience, having so many prospects and clients, most of the books on Amazon are dead or close to dead. They are selling a few copies a month. That's like max. In that case, my system won't hurt you, but can help you. And what's the system? The system is you are using popular words, not keywords, words from English language or whatever language you are using in your book. And why does it work? Because Amazon uses this broad match. So whenever you will use the word like we, you, the most common words in English language, they somehow connected to like book titles or just things people are like. How to is a great phrase, because people are, for nonfiction books, they are using how to do something or solve something and so on. So that's a great, or just how, and then Amazon can connect any how in the search term with your book. So use the most common words and use plenty of them. Just slap the spaghetti on the wall, bid it low. I would say 10 cents, maybe 15, however adventurous you feel, and it creates volume, because like we, how to, and so on, there are extremely popular words in the search terms, so millions of people are looking for them. Amazon has the backend data on the customers, so they can figure out, okay, this guy bought several nonfiction business books and types how to something, and how is a keyword for this book. Maybe they will connect. So in the end, you are not trying to target anything, which is unlike any advertising. It's not advertising at all. Like any serious advertiser would be shocked and dismayed. Come on, this should not work. This is waste of your time and money, but it actually works. So you have like thousands of keywords, which is about 100 or 200 campaigns. That's all. You get millions of impressions, or at least hundreds of thousands, which converts into several hundred clicks, which converts into, let's say, 30 sales a month. 30 is much better than 3. And because you're using those low bits, you are paying like less than $1, couple of dollars to generate all the traffic, which convert into one sale, and you actually can make money. And I assure you, yes, it works, and it's the easiest way to resurrect your existing book. So if you have a books that are dead, the series or standalones with nonfiction, it works quite well. They are a few years old. They are selling very little. Like, this is the best thing you can do. Just get English dictionary, slap it into the campaigns, cross your fingers, and depending on actually the most the biggest factor is your book page. Like, it's a guarantee you will get traffic. How much of it converts depends on your book page.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe last question, something I was curious of as well. You mentioned like pricing for the Amazon ads, like 10 to 50 cents for a structure like that, which I found, by the way, a very interesting way of looking at ads. I never heard somebody use that structure. So it's make me think, oh, it's like an aha moment. So I love that. We're all about aha moments here. So that's good. But let's say if you would want to target certain keywords, and I know that when I started with self-publishing, what, 3-4 years ago, you could get away with like 25 cents per click, right? And still be competitive with even bigger keywords like horror or thriller or something like that. Now that is, I'm not sure what it is, like 40 cents or something like that, maybe even higher for those keywords.
For example, marketing is $3 to $5.
Oh yeah, per click, ladies and
Per
gentlemen,
click.
per
Yes,
click.
sir.
Yeah. It's getting crowded. It's more crowded per day. I mean, there are, I would say thousands, maybe even millions of books are published per day in Amazon, and a lot of them figure out how to. A lot of those authors figure out to use Amazon ads. So I think my final advice would be, if you do want to go it on your own, do your research, get some courses. I mean, like the one from Kinderpreneur that Michal mentioned is a very good one, but there are several ones out there. But do your research, know what you're doing, and test. I think that's even the biggest thing that you can do, test things out. You can use the spaghetti wall approach. There's so many different approaches, but the only thing you can do is test. So that will be my advice. Do you have a final advice for people who want to run Amazon ads?
Yeah, your advice was very good. Test, because the spaghetti on the wall can be just the first step in the process. You will sell like 50 copies. You will have 50 data points because you get the search terms people use to find your book and both. Okay, it will give you like the starting points for the research of keywords. And then you can stop all the spaghetti on the wall, just see what sticks and keep at that and test new keywords. Of course, it's like extremely hard to, I know from practice again, to convert from the spaghetti on the wall to some targeted ads. Like you need to stop all the hundreds of ads. That's like the best advice I have. And then start those few targeted ads. Also, like one secret sauce piece is, if the automatic ad for your book is working well, you have very high chances for success. It means Amazon knows what your book is about. It is not reluctant to show your book around. And what I mean by working, like you start the auto ads and the default bid is 75 cents. Okay, it's quite pricey, but let's say you can afford that. And it then comes down to the traffic. So how many impressions you will get, how many clicks it will convert to. It should be less than 20 clicks to generate a sale. That means, okay, Amazon is really targeting the right crowd, people who are interested in your subject matter. But pay attention to those numbers. Like if it's in hundreds of thousands range, then it means, yes, Amazon definitely prefers your book. You have a lot to experiment with. You won't waste your time. But if it's the other way around, like for the whole month, you got like 20,000 impressions and 10 clicks or 15. Well, it will be an uphill battle. Like you will spend a lot of time. So I would say save yourself time. It's really hard to convince Amazon to anything. The best tactic in that case is to really broad the traffic from outside, which will convert, because I believe Dave Chesson, that he knows his stuff, and he says that Amazon is like, all the algorithms are most interested in the sales figures. So if you can generate sales, Amazon will be convinced, okay, this is worth marketing, this is worth advertising, your traffic will increase and you will sell more.
That's great advice. Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. I think this was a very interesting session because a lot of people love to know a little bit more about Amazon ads and marketing in general, of course. So thanks again. And for everybody who's watching this, thanks for watching, of course, and check our other expert interview sessions out in the community. And we see you on the next session. See you then.